Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live Trading Thursday. My name is David Verbruggen. I'm excited to be back with you guys again. I had to miss last week because I was traveling for Trade Surge. It was a great event, but I'm glad to be back here with you guys again. We got some good stuff that we're going to look at in the market here. Keep in mind that all the examples that we're going to look at in this live trading session should be viewed for educational purposes only and not taken as trading or investment advice. Guys, you know how this drill goes. Go ahead and get your tickers in, get your questions in. We'd like to look at all those potential trades with you, maybe some trades that you're currently in, or even some previous trades. That's fine too. But go ahead and get those in. These live trading sessions, they're a lot better when we have your participation. Then we can just start going through trades and looking at seeing what is good and what isn't. So go ahead and get those in when you can. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. We're going to look at the overall market. There we go. So you can see here, we've got some higher lows happening, right? Even a pivot recently, just last week, right there, move up, but then it made a lower high, right? And I dropped this line down a little bit. We got some resistance that happened back in here. You have this M type of pattern that formed with a follow through to the downside. And then the S&P ran into the 200 simple. Now, if you remember, the 200 simple was resistance for a long time. Back in here, further back, if we pull this guy all the way back, you can see resistance there as well. So 200 simple had been resistance for a while. And now, oops, got to zoom in a little bit more here. There we go. Now it just acted as support. So it's kind of interesting. We'll have to see what happens. But anyway, we had that M pattern, ran into it, acted as a support, and then it moved up again, but only to this line, right? That was previous resistance here and then support right in here. So then it moved back down, coming right back down to this uptrending support line. Now that uptrending support line has kind of been an interesting one because it's had to adjust it several times depending on what the new information is that is coming through. But this is where I have it now. And we're coming right up on that line. So we'll have to see, does that bounce up again? Or do we break through that support line? So that kind of makes the question, right? Are we bullish? Or are we bearish? What are we? How are we going to approach this market? It's tough right now. If we go ahead and want to be bullish, if I really want to get on the bullish train, I want to see this 40-70 line broken, and I want to see a higher high made and then come back down and make a higher low and a bounce. Okay, at that point, I could really get on the bullish train. If I want to really look for some bearish trades, I need to see this support line broken and us to start breaking down below the 200 simple as well. But, we haven't really fallen off that cliff yet. So it kind of makes it interesting. So what do? Right? And you've heard me say this before. Let's just go find stocks. Let's go find patterns that are still pretty. Even though the overall market might be a little bit of a mess, we could do a big, let's look at a 3-year weekly. You can see how, don't worry about this big T here. That was just testing out some lines. You can see how back in 21, it was just a beautiful market, right? Oh my goodness. I mean, just bounce off the 20-week. I mean, it was just very consistent. And then 2022 happened. And 2023, it's still kind of messy right now. So that's just the big overview. So we want to find patterns that might still be looking like this right here. Just the pretty stuff. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. All right, go ahead and get your tickers in as well, because primarily this time is for you. I want to be able to help you analyze the trades that you are looking at. So go ahead and get those submitted in, because we only have about 15 minutes or so. And if tickers come in at the very end, they kind of get left off. But until then, let's dive in and see what we can find. So I like to look at the scans. There's several things I like to do when I'm doing this, but I want to go ahead and go to the scans. And you guys know by now, my favorite is the outlook, and I'm going to click on bullish. Why bullish and not bearish? Well, right now, the market in the last few months has been acting a little more bullish than bearish, and bullish trades are generally easier to catch than bearish trades. When you have a good buy point on a bear trade, it tends to move through that pretty quickly, whereas a bullish trade gives you some more time. So we're going to click on bullish. Got several opportunities here. Again, chart rising channel, chart pattern rising channel. That's going to be your uptrend. So I'm going to click on that, and it's pulled up 33 stocks that, based off of, the parameters that the platform has set, it is showing that these are in an uptrend. It does not mean that they're pretty. That's where our job comes into play. We still need to go through those tickers and figure out, are they pretty? But before we do that, I want to go ahead and narrow this list down even further. Why? Because I want to be picky, right? Picky is good when you're trading. Picky is very good. So I want to go ahead and select all of them. But I want to go ahead and get rid of the stocks that have a red fundamentals box. If I'm going to be bullish, I don't want to be looking at anything that has poor fundamentals. So I'm going to get rid of the reds. It's going to be these three guys down here as well. Make sure I got no reds left. Next, I want to also take a look at the next earnings, right? See the last column right here, next ER, next earnings. So if they have already put out a date for their earnings report, that'll show up there. Now, I want to look for stocks, that are at least a month out before earnings. So nothing in March, for example, nothing in very early April. So let's go through this list right here. Everything is fine so far. Here we go. Here's one. So that's March 22nd. We've already unchecked that one because of fundamentals right there. This one's close, but it's still more than a month out, so we can keep that one in there as well. And here we go. Here's another. That was earnings yesterday. Okay, but we've already unchecked that one as well. Finally, I want to go ahead and only look at stocks that have at least 1 million in volume, right? Because if we find one, and I know there's some really little guys in here. Where was it? Oh, TSCO, for example, 317,000 shares traded so far today. That's pretty low on the volume. It means our spreads aren't going to be as good. It means it's going to be harder to do options trades. So I want to go ahead and find some that have better volume. So I'm going to unclick anything like this right here, LMT. I'm going to get rid of that guy. Get rid of CME, MAR, anything under 1 million. I'm going to get rid of that right now. I know you might be thinking, I just want to see some charts. We're going to see the charts, but I'm showing you some practical steps that we can do as traders just to kind of help our workflow and eliminate some charts that we wouldn't really be interested in anyway. Wow. Okay. So we just eliminate a lot. What do we have left? We've got a handful, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to send these over to, I just want to send them to the chart. So select symbols from the table and add them to research. So I click that button, and here they are in our research tab. From here, just go straight to the chart. That's what I like to do. And now we see what we can find, right? So this is the first one that came up, CRM, Salesforce. You can see good fundamentals. It has been making higher highs, higher lows. Crazy move here on earnings. Look at that. Estimated at 73 cents a share. It blew it out of the water, hence the massive gap up. And it has been slowly drifting down. So we can throw some lines on here. That's a good line right there, but it's pretty far extended still, right? So we're going to want to wait and see on this guy. Now, I would keep that on the watch list. You can take this line too and kind of put it on the top there and see if you can come up with a good resistance line. That could be a good resistance line, right? Actually, I like that one so much. Let's draw another line. So we're going to draw another line. It was right around there. Those are going to be pretty parallel lines right there. You can do a parallel channel as well. I just like to just draw the lines and just keep it a little simpler. So, is this at a good buy point? No, not right now. I would want to see this thing pull back and then bounce up off this line. Now, with a gap like that after earnings, it could be making a different pattern. So these lines may end up being obsolete, and we may end up having to draw a new line. But for now, this would stay on the watch list. This is a nice one. WFC, let's take a look and see what's going on. You can see it's been uptrending, right? But wow, look at the last couple days. that is a pretty substantial move down. Look where it is right now, right, guys? I didn't plan this out, right? This is where it is, right on that line. I'm really curious now to see, does it bounce off that line? I drew this line weeks ago or months ago. I don't know. Will it bounce off that line? If it bounces off that line, that shows a lot of weight to that line and shows how good that line is. Now, it could fall through it, right? It could fall through that line, and then we kind of have to throw this one out. So this one, I might want to keep on the watch list for now, but I'm going to be honest with you. 3 moves or 3 days like this where it just came down. I mean, 3 days ago, it opened up at 46. Now we're down at 41, right? About a 10% drop. That's substantial, and that's on higher volume on that first day as well. That's substantial. So I'll keep it on the watch list, but I'm not as excited about that one just based off of the incredible move it made the last few days. Let's take a look at BP. Now, this one seems to be a lot more calm, if you will. Had nice moves there, bounce off the 50, bounce, bounce, bounce. So 50 seems to be support for some time. Let's see if we can draw. I don't think we're going to get the best line on here. We can throw that one on there, see if it comes back, but for now it isn't. Earnings, again, big move up. Wow, look at that. Estimated 165 and 350 is what it came in at earnings about a month ago. So, of course, you can see the big move up, right, from 34 up to 41 there. And now it just needs some rest, right? Let's see how far it comes back down. If it comes back down to the 50, you could see a bounce off of there. This support line is just a line right now. It's not a trend. I only have 2 touches. I don't have that third touch to make a trend. But I'm keeping it on the watch list, right? EQNR. Ooh. All right. So let's zoom out here. So this guy definitely used to be uptrending really nicely, right? Then it kind of went sideways lately. I'm not liking it so much. For me, this one's going to come off the list, and I bet very soon this one wouldn't even qualify anymore for the rising channel uptrend scan. So this one, I'm just going to hit the X button and just get rid of that. Don't even have to throw lines on that one. Don't like it. GM. Let's take a look at GM. It's been making some higher highs and higher lows recently. Let's see if we can get some better lines on here. Trying to grab this. Oh my goodness. Let's get rid of that one and let's just start over on that line. I want to see if we could do. Oh, you know what I need? I need a quick refresh. Here's what's happening, guys. This browser technology, so sometimes you've got a lot of data that gets stuck, right? And so you just need to refresh, and then you can redraw your lines. There you go. So you can pull this one back right about there. We're going to have to see if that line holds. Now, we might keep this one on the watch list right now, but not a huge fan of this pattern. Actually, it looks pretty similar to the overall market, right? Because it made a move up and then came back down, found some support, and it made a lower high and is moving back down. So we'll have to see where that bounces, if that bounces. But this one may very well be coming off the list as well. DXCM. All right, let's go ahead. I want to drop a horizontal line right here. See how that was resistance right in here? Made that big gap up, probably really good earnings numbers. They beat it, not by a ton, but they still beat it. And then it's just been hanging out above there. So let's see if we draw one more line, maybe from down here. There we go. That line looks pretty good, actually. You can see how it catches the bottoms right there, keeps moving up. So this one has some potential. There might be another line. You can see a zone of resistance. I'm not going to put the line up right now. There's not a perfect resistance line up there, but you can see that zone of resistance right there. So this is one I would keep on the watch list as well. Not the cleanest or prettiest pattern necessarily, but if we can keep moving up and make higher lows off of this line, that will look pretty good. So there's some potential for DXCM, to have some decent trades in the near future. And it. All right, this one kind of skyrocketing up. You can see, look at that, matching up on the 20-day EMA very nicely there. Pretty far extended right now, right? That's pretty far extended. But what if that comes back down to the 20-day, right? What if that comes back down to the 20-day and produces a bounce? There could be an opportunity there. So definitely going to leave that one on. CrowdStrike. Here we go. This is one that was in a nice downtrend, right? Broke that downtrend nicely. EMA started crossing over. You can see how the EMAs were stacked inversely. Got the 10 below the 20, below the 50, below the 100, below the 200. And now they're starting to stack bullishly. Got the 10 above the 20, 20 above the 50. 10 just crossed over the 100. So, the 20 and 50 most likely will cross over the 100 soon. Approaching that 200. Right? So some good things we're seeing there. Wouldn't mind it coming back. Let's zoom in here a little bit. There we go. Let's just grab a cross section. Wouldn't mind seeing this thing come back to this line. Actually, might need to adjust this line a little bit. Yeah, right about there. Still got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches or so. If that comes back, produces a bounce, could be in a good position there. And then I would be looking at a profit or a target of around 200, the 200 simple, that is, not $200, the 200 simple, right? Oftentimes when a downtrending stock breaks that downtrend, starts moving up, it can get, it can find some resistance at that 200, but that's still quite a bit of a move it can make. So if you get in at 125 and then you got out around 145 or so, maybe just below 150, that's a really solid move, even for like a step one stock trade. So this is one I'd be watching for sure to see, is there a good buy point that could be had at some point. Right now, it's sitting right on the 5-day. That's a tough place to buy. But if it comes back down a little bit and bounces off of maybe the support line or an EMA, there's some potential right there. HWM, taking a look at this guy. Now that's pretty, right? It's going from the bottom left of the screen to the top right of our screen. This is definitely one of the better looking ones. Like always, we might just need to adjust some lines. So I'm going to grab this, and now that I have some more information in play here. There we go. Let's save that guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a nice line right there. Stock pulling back today. That's a pretty big candlestick. Not anything to be worried about. What if it does this, right? That's a big candlestick down. What if tomorrow it moves back down again? It sits right on that line. And then the next day, you have a little bit of an update and confirmation the following day. What if that happens, right? All of a sudden, Howmet Aerospace, which is all green on the boxes, by the way, it's kind of cool. That could be in a good position for a buy point. And you could do a whole bunch of trades on that. You can do step 1, 2, 3, or 4 on that, right? I like charts like this. I like charts like this because they don't look like the overall market. Overall market, kind of messy. HWM right now, looking pretty nice, right? Not at a buy point right now, but it could be potentially even Monday. Last one we're going to look at before we close it up, CCJ. Now, right off the bat, I like HWM more, right? CCJ is just kind of, it had a nice uptrend move there. It moved up nicely, but then recently here made a lower low and a lower high. So this thing might be falling off of that uptrend list soon. So I would be getting rid of that guy. So now you've got, we just went from a bunch of stocks and now we've got about eight or so. You could put that on a watch list, and you could watch those guys. And, I mentioned which one the favorite ones are, right? So those are the ones that could be imminently traded within the next week, potentially. So there you have it, guys. I want to leave you guys with something here. We have a trading jumpstart challenge coming up at the end of the month. I'm going to drop this in the comment box right here for you guys. There you go. Both Facebook and YouTube. You should see that in the comments there. This Trading Jumpstart Challenge is a week-long course, if you will, where you would be looking at things with coaches, right? About 2 to 3 hours a day that week. I'm going to be one of the coaches. I'll be helping out on Monday and Wednesday. It's going to be really good. It's designed for new traders. What are some practical steps that you can take to just jumpstart your trading, to get into it? What is the workflow? Because there's so much. How do we actually put the pieces together? So that's what the Trading Jumpstart is all about and what it's for. Also have it slipped my mind. It slipped my mind. But wanted to mention, let me check it's being recorded. That was what I wanted to mention. Yes, 2 to 3 hours a day. Sometimes you might not be able to make all of that, right? These sessions will be recorded, so they will be made available afterwards. There's a price to it, but go ahead and click that link and check it out, because I think you're going to find that price is very fair. We really just want to help people. We want to help people get started. So go ahead and click that link and check it out. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to be back on with you guys next week. I won't be traveling next week, so I will see you guys again next week. Thank you so much.